Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. When it comes to great wrestlers, AEW isn't lacking in any division, whether that's a singles, tag, women's, six-man. There's just so many talented people in this company. Problem is, there's only so many belts to go around, so what I've decided to do is throw out a few names and give you guys some reasons why I think they should be next in line to hold an AEW championship. Before we do start the video, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to the channel and left a like on this video down below. It really helps me grow this and kind of just reach a broader audience. I'd also appreciate if you followed my Twitter down in the bottom left. I've been doing daily match reviews, reviewing stuff like, I don't know, the Ladder War 1 and Bryan Danielson versus Kenta and Edge versus John Cena. So if you're into that sort of stuff, drop a follow. With all that said, let's kick off the video by talking about the AEW International Championship. At the current moment, I'd probably say that the International Championship is the number 2 title in the company after Orange Cassidy's incredible run. Through some absolutely amazing matches and in-ring storytelling, he made this the main event belt, and that was only solidified by the only 3-time AEW World Champion Jon Moxley being the guy to take it from him. For now, I kind of just want Jon Moxley to become an absolute killer for a while, so when the guy I'm about to name takes the belt from him, it feels like a bigger deal, you know, even on top of just beating Jon Moxley. And when I think about who could use that moment, just pinning the ace of AEW, the name Konosuke Takeshita pops into my head almost immediately. He has lots of history with Jon Moxley. He actually had a couple matches that he lost to him, and so if he were able to score the win here, I think that would really put over his growth as a wrestler. I think you just can't waste any time when it comes to a talent as good as Takeshita. He has main event potential, and I'm sure if he's given the platform to kind of show it, more people will see the vision if they haven't already. I know that there's potential for them to do the Kenny rematch after Konosuke definitely beats Ibushi at Wrestle Dream, but I'd honestly prefer if that story was built up over a longer period of time, you know, Kenny becoming the cleaner again, with that rematch finally coming later next year, with the AEW International Championship on the line. Continue the lineage of this belt, have it be won by main event guys. Like, imagine if it went to Takeshita to Kenny. Like, that would just put over how important this belt is in just the grand scheme of AEW. My second option to beat Jon Moxley might be coming out of nowhere, but he also has history with Kenny Omega, so you could have Kenny Omega beat this guy. It's Will Ospreay. His contract is up with New Japan at the beginning of next year, and while I'm not 100% sold on him leaving, the guy got an AEW tattoo, so I don't know. But if he does jump ship to AEW, I think you just immediately have to give him the belt. The guy is the best in the world right now. Again, similar to Konosuke, you can't waste any time with Will Ospreay. Could you imagine the resume that Will Ospreay would end up having? He would beat Kenny Omega twice. He would beat Kazuchika Okada, Shingo Takagi, Chris Jericho, Naomichi Marufuji, and then he'd add Jon Moxley to that list. That would just solidify this run of his, and God, I can only imagine. That's a dream of mine as a big fan of Will. There's no other person in wrestling right now that really comes close to the level Will Ospreay's at. He's the absolute best in the world for my money, and I could only dream of him having a work rate title to go over on TV every week. Like, if it's not Takeshita, I think Will Ospreay is the perfect second option, but mainly, it's Takeshita. Moving forward to the tag team championships, it kind of feels like they've lost a lot of steam. Like, has it not? It felt huge when FTR won them just because of how over they were, and it felt really deserving and really earned. And while they're still over, it just hasn't really been the run that I wanted out of them. It just feels bland outside of the stuff with Bullet Club Gold, and that really sucks as someone who saw that like crowning moment as a chance for the tag team division to get back to where it was in AEW. Even what they're doing right now, the tag team challenge on Collision just feels so hollow, and for that reason I want Aussie Open to be the ones to dethrone them at Wrestle Dream. A young and exciting team that are sure to breathe new life into this division is exactly what's needed given its current state. While you could argue that the Young Bucks should be the ones to do it, I don't think so since they didn't do it at All In. I'd much rather them take more time to evolve into more interesting and dynamic characters, kind of the thing that they showed it All Out, before they go on another run with the belts. Aussie Open is the future of tag team wrestling, and what better way to establish them among the fanbase than with a tag title run with feuds like Bullet Club Gold, the Lucha Brothers, and eventually even the Young Bucks. Sign me up, I'm huge on these guys. They've been working so hard to get more and more over, and I think it's really working. Give them a run with the belts, just have them have exciting matches again, because that's really what the tag division needs. So, fuck it, I'm saying pull the trigger in a few weeks at Wrestle Dream. Moving over to more tag-based belts, my prediction for the next AEW Trios champions is all based on who wins the future Bullet Club Gold versus La Facción Ingobernables feud that I see coming on the horizon. A feud that's almost guaranteed to have amazing matches. Both teams are being set up as major players in the future of this division, and while I would love to see LFI get the win, I think BCG is going to be the ones to do it. They're probably the most entertaining thing on AEW TV right now to me. I love every segment that they're in. They're just so funny, and if you haven't seen some of their stuff on Twitter, those little videos they put out, you gotta go watch them. It's fucking hilarious. You can have them feud with the LFI for a decent amount of time, give the Acclaim some time with the belts, and then have them take it. And honestly, I can see Bullet Club Gold draped in gold in the future, and we're going to talk about that later in the video. Just stay tuned, but give them the trios belts, and I think they're going to shine. Switching gears to the women's division, let's start with the TBS Championship, which I think is the premier women's championship in AEW right now. Statlander is on a hell of a run, just now beating Jade Cargill and Britt Baker in back-to-back main events, and she's honestly my favorite worker in the division. She's one of those women's wrestlers that just has a certain energy and a certain style that a lot of other women's wrestlers just don't have. She has breathed new life into the TBS division after a very stale and very bland Jade Cargill run. I think she's having much better matches with the belt, even though I enjoyed those Jade Cargill ones for what they were. I'm so glad she gets this run, to be honest. I'm a huge fan of hers. However, she's got to lose the belt at some point, and there are two names that I could see in line for her title, and we're going to start with a kind of out there idea with the returning Thunder Rosa. This would be a really cool idea given she's healthy and can work those really good matches that she was having. She's one of the very few believable champions in this division, and I think she should return as a heel. Many people were floating the idea of her starting a group with Diamante and Mercedes Martinez, and I think that just sounds pretty exciting. And if you want a good heel to take the belt off Statlander, because I think you're going to need it, Thunder Rosa is a great shout. The second name I'm going to throw out is Toni Storm, who's really been finding her groove with this new character of hers. We've always known she's a great worker. She's been wonderful in AEW, but it never really felt like she was taking it up to that next level, and now she's finally has something to really stick onto, and it's gotten so over in just this short amount of time. I can only imagine where it's going to grow to. She's the first woman to get a character over since Britt Baker, if memory serves me right, and it's a genuinely refreshing thing to see on AEW television because this division just doesn't have any of those. Having Toni become a bigger part of weekly television can only be a good thing. She's been getting great reactions on Twitter. All of her segments go super viral, and that's why she's also my pick for the AEW Women's World Championship. And while this might be a cop-out, she's honestly going to be the only person I'm going to include in two different title discussions because I simply enjoy her work that much. Like I said, she's genuinely a breath of fresh air in this division, and I don't care which belt you give her, but you gotta give her one of them. It would just be perfect. It would be exactly what this division needs. And what can you say other than chin up, tits out, and give her a belt? But we're not just going to talk about Toni Storm twice and ignore anyone else. So for the AEW Women's Championship, I think another name that would be really exciting is Mercedes Moné. Her and Saraya are already going to have a program because they both said they really want it. So why not give her the belt? I know she's not signed and she's probably not coming in for a big long title reign, but she's just such a huge draw, and I think it'd be worth it just to give her maybe even a short one. I don't care. I would do it in a heartbeat. People will tune in for the former Sasha Banks, and in a division that lacks any women with that aura right now, honestly, she's exactly what they need. And if this were to happen, fly in some Joshi talent while you're at it. That's really what she wants to do. She's been doing it ever since she's left. And do the matches on Dynamite. It would be infinitely better than pairing her with Anna Jay or something like that. If that took place, that would genuinely be one of the most exciting title reigns to look forward to. But someone else I would have that same energy for is Jamie Hayter. I was so excited to see what Jamie would do with this belt. It absolutely killed me when she got injured. And why not give her the belt when she comes back? I know that it's been reported that she's probably not going to be back for a while, but if Tony Khan wants Saraya to have a long title reign or even give the belt to Mercedes Moné and have her go on a short reign, Jamie would be a perfect shout to dethrone either woman. Switching gears to the TNT Championship, it's really on an upward swing after that disastrous 2022 it had through Christian Cage's incredible ability to help out fatherless talent. While he may only be mostly TNT champion, the Cuck Luchasaurus has performed really well in his monster role if you ignore that stinky Brock Anderson collision match and focus on that insanely good Darby one. But really what's made this belt is, like I said, Christian Cage. He has been absolutely incredible on the mic and has made this championship feel like a really big deal again. So I think it should go to someone who feels like a really big deal. So why not Ricky Starks? He's always been incredible on television, so we could continue having just very fun segments. He's really taken it up another level, like in terms of in-ring work and even just the segments alone. And I think a TNT title reign would really cement him as a top guy. I don't think that he's ready for the World Championship, and I don't think he's ready for the International Championship. So I think this is the perfect opportunity to give him a nice big run and have him just prove himself even further than he has already. His match quality isn't always the most consistent thing in the world, and in AEW that's a big deal. So in a reign like that, I'd kind of want to see him just have consistently good matches, consistently entertaining segments, and just keep building that star power, and the sky's the limit for this guy in my opinion. Another good option would be Miro. I'm really intrigued by this current CJ Perry stuff that's been going on, and I honestly wasn't ready for his TNT title run that was going on before to end, so I'd be 100% down for him to run it back. We've talked a lot about good promos when talking about the TNT Championship, and throw Miro in that category. The dude is absolutely insane. I love him talking to God and talking about his flexible hot wife. He was amazing as a TNT champion, and I would be just, like I said, I'd be down to see him again. Have him go on another killer reign, have him do more fun shit, have him work Haas matches, just throw Miro in with more Haas's like the match he had with Powerhouse Hobbs, and watch this division just flourish as a Haas division. Let's do one more. You want to talk about Haas division? Why not have Keith Lee become the next TNT champ? Singles Keith Lee just hasn't really been given much opportunity to shine, and judging by the stuff that he's been doing on Collision, it kind of seems like he's the next rehab project, and I'm down for it. If he was the guy that was causing that segment to take 22 takes, maybe he's not the guy, but I don't think that was him. He looked so done with it on TV. That was hilarious, but I really enjoy his work. I think he has a lot of potential. If you just build him up a little bit more, I could really easily see him taking the Haas belt. If you're going to continue to make this belt the big meaty men championship, Miro and Hobbs would be my best choice, but outside of that, I want to cement Ricky Starks. Of course, we had to save the AEW World Championship for last, and the two guys I'm about to talk about are the guys I'm most certain have to win this belt next. We're going to start off with Switchblade Jay White, who I think has been proving himself as a fantastic weekly TV wrestler since coming over from New Japan. I talked about it when I was talking about the Trios Championships. Him and Bullet Club Gold have been the most entertaining thing on AEW Collision, and I kind of alluded to it then, but I think him holding the World Championship while they're holding the Trios would just be an awesome visual for Bullet Club Gold, you know? The thing about BCG is they're all entertaining in their own ways, but it's clear that when they're on screen or when they're in the ring, that Jay White is a cut above the rest of them. And that's no disrespect to any of the other wrestlers in this group, but Jay White is just a generational talent. There's a reason why he was at the top of New Japan for so long, even as a gaijin, and yeah, he just has this natural ability to connect with the audience, and when he's given the chance to show it in a singles feud, I think everyone who hasn't caught on will. But the next guy, the guy who I think should be the next AEW World Champion, has been given opportunities like that, and in my opinion has proved himself, and that's Swerve Strickland. When you see him on screen and you see his natural presence, he feels ready to take that next step into the main event singles scene, and the numbers back it up. His first interaction with Hangman Page on Dynamite boosted the ratings 10% in the 18 to 49 demographic, and alongside his huge crowd reactions, I think it's clear that the audience sees this guy as a main event star already. And how could you not when he just oozes charisma on the screen, even when he's not talking? Like, he was just sitting in a chair the other day, and he was just noticeably that much cooler than everyone else. I think he's perfected this heel persona of his. The Mogul Embassy is super fucking cool. I really wish AR Fox would get back in the group. But the Mogul Embassy is working, and I can only imagine just MJF going up against all of those guys. I think it'd be great. When it comes to the future of the AEW World Championship, I think you just have to go with either one of these guys, like I said. I would be totally down for either of them. I don't want this to come across as me picking one over the other because I think they're both fantastic, but I do gotta pick one. So I'm going to set my Switchblade bias aside and go with Swerve Strickland as the next AEW World Champion. And with all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below who your next AEW World Champions would be. Thanks for watching, everybody. Much love. Peace.